Hi, Keahi Pelayo here, and today I'm going to give you a couple of year-end statistics for the Honolulu Board of Realtors and Multiple Listing Service Sales. As well, I'm going to update some of the key features or items that I see happening in 2026 that, to me, make it look like mid-year we're going to see things pick up. But first, let's jump into the summary from 2025. All right. In 2025, you might remember if you watched my earlier video in December, I'd done some manipulation of numbers and I had predicted that we were going to end the year of total single family residence sales and condo sales equaling about 7,400 closings. Well, the numbers are out and I was off a little bit. It came out to be 7,298. So I missed it by 100. To put that in context, you might remember I said 9,000 is a very busy year, 6,000 is a very slow year. 7,300 units sold is not a bad year. It's actually a middling year, and we're doing just fine. Also, you may remember I said that houses were where the demand were. We ended up the year with a median price of $1,139,000. That's a 3.5% year-on-year increase in value. So if you would have paid cash for the average house in Honolulu at $1,139,000, you would have made approximately $40,000 on your investment. Now, condos were a little bit different story. Values were down 1.5%. So when you see the housing prices rise, what ends up happening is condos historically will follow houses because houses become more expensive, condos become your affordable product. It'll be interesting to see how the year goes and see if condos pick up too. So that's the summary of 2025. Let's look into 2026. And I'd outlined a number of items in my last prediction for 2026. And now I've got a few more items that make me optimistic about the second half of the year. And here we go. First of all, we know that unemployment has gone up a bit. And if you're in the government, it's a problem. If you're outside the government, the job losses have been mainly in the government sector. So we have a shrinking government, which I guess says that we should be spending less at a governmental level. And knock on wood, we're going to get our budgets in control. But job losses have been mainly in the governmental sector. And that positions the private sector to do better. And I think what I'm going to share with you next and what I've shared with you in the past, it's going to give those government workers positive feedback on getting jobs because we're going to see growth in jobs and the economy, I believe. Here's one of the things that is going to take impact probably after we pay taxes this year. The tax cuts from the big beautiful bill or the bill they passed last year are going to take effect, and we'll see the impact of those after we all file our taxes. So those will take effect. Knock on wood, it will put more income into the economy, and as income comes into the economy, buying power goes up, the business gets better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I won't belabor that, but we're going to see tax cuts hit. Also, we have commitments from other countries and businesses to spend $10 trillion building out our industrial and manufacturing capacity in the United States. That means we're bringing manufacturing home, a lot of it. And you can't just snap your fingers and have an industrial plant go up or a manufacturing plant goes up. It takes time. And we should start seeing those build-outs start to happen and the impact of those build-outs both on construction and future optimism for our economy happen. And I think we're going to start seeing optimism from that sector too. The other thing that happened since my last report was that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to be buying $200 billion $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities. And what that does is that takes those mortgage-backed securities out of the market, and it's going to have pressure down on interest rates. Combine this with the changes at the Fed that are going to happen in the first half of the year, and we could see a much lower interest rate environment in the future. And the final factor that we're seeing in our market, there's a shortage overall in the United States, especially here in Honolulu, of affordable homes and condos for sale, as well as affordable rentals. And if there's a shortage in one area, that means demand will rise. And as demand rises, in my opinion, you're going to see rental rates go up. And as rental rates go up, there's going to be more incentive for renters to get into the Honolulu real estate market. If there's a shortage of affordable housing, the ones that are affordable, that are for sale, there's going to be higher demand for. And if you're in an affordable niche in our market, you could see a lot of demand for your home and perhaps condo. All of that adds up to, I think there's going to be pressure on prices as we go through this year. If you're a buyer thinking about buying now, I would suggest that you do it now, because I think later this year we're going to have some positive factors on the national scale and maybe on the local scale that are going to lead to pressure on prices up. So if you can buy now, buy now. Sellers, it's always a good time to sell in Honolulu. If you have a good reason to sell, it's always a good time to sell. Can you wait, and would you get more later this year? Maybe, and probably. The key to selling Honolulu real estate is having a reason to sell it. Just to sell it is not a smart thing to do. But if you're going to 1031 exchange, if you want to reinvest the money in other areas, if you want to help a family member start a business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the reasons that you would sell a piece of real estate, if you have a good reason, then it's a good time to sell now. If you have any questions, or if you would like to talk to me, feel free to reach out to me. And I'm a general real estate broker. I can help you with anything that you have in the way of sales. If you want to sell something, or if you have something that you want to buy, let us know and we would be happy to help you. In the meantime, you have a great day.